So apparently the last video updated wasn't the final video for the updates. They have a developer note video that dropped, developer notes 1. It says what we've been up to, and then there's like another part to it that goes into more detail about the changes they're going to fix. It's kind of crazy because I just did that last video and they're already got more information coming out. Hopefully they space it out a little bit further next time. There's another part to this that's supposed to be coming out that goes into even more detail about more changes that they're fixing. And so when that happens, we'll have another video about that as well. But if you're new to the channel, my name is Rich. I just enjoy games. Chrono Odyssey is one of the latest games that I've been looking forward to. And since I have my chance to get my hands on, I want to talk a bit more about it. And that's why we're going into these notes and details about it. First off, real quick though, I want to just mention Into the AM partnered with me to give you guys 10% off of their shirts and stuff. It's on their website, intotheam.com. You can use the code DMXL to get 10% off, or check the link in the description. These are going to be like men t-shirts. They're nice, soft quality shirts. I was kind of surprised. I like the way they feel, I like the way they look. So if you're interested in that, check them out. The 10% also stacks on any deals they have on the website. So right now they have 60% off on for 4th of July. So that'll be 70% off of your purchases. So that's kind of cool. And let's go ahead and check this update out. We want to express our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has been patiently waiting for our game. We know many of you have been eager to hear new updates, so today we'd like to share a small part of what's been going on. So they have a little infographic here where they're saying top 3 weapons used the most was the bow, sword and shield, and crossbow, which is interesting. My favorite weapon that I picked was the berserker, so I was using the chain blade, and I like the two-handed axe. That was good. And so was the regular axe, because you could throw that junk, the two wielding axes, you could throw that mug and it had like a boomerang effect. That was pretty cool. So I don't know what class. I only tried the one. Most popular content was the wanted criminal Ravenous Bog, was hunted 100 plus times. So yeah, bounty hunting, field boss, labyrinths, trial dungeons, and time portals. Top 3 most defeated monsters were the flares, the broken, and the deprived. Average playtime was 11 hours. And most popular area was Saroma Stronghold. I guess 11 hours makes sense. I play like 7 hours in. People don't want to put too much time into a lot of these because, you'll get burnt out. A lot of times you don't really want to do stuff again when the game comes out. So you just kind of want to see what it's like, jump in, see how far you can really get, and then play what you really want to play. Back in February, we held a private focus group test. Many players participated, and thanks to the amazing feedback and in-depth data, we've been able to further move forward with the direction of the game. Since then, we've been focusing on refining areas that needed improvement and pushing the overall polish to the next level. To give you a small glimpse of what was tested during the FGT, Saroma Stronghold stood out as one of the most popular areas in the game. So I did not do the focus group test. That was not me. I was, and still am, a nobody. So here we go right here. This is the area, the Saroma Stronghold. There are rumors of mysterious presence near Saroma Stronghold. To cover the truth, someone may need to venture deep into the mist. I don't know if that there. Travelers will naturally come across this region during their journey, but Saroma Stronghold is far from just another exploration site. It carries a strange, eerie atmosphere, as though something important is hidden within. What could be waiting inside? Among all the content in the test, bounty hunting came out as the most popular. Tracking and taking down powerful targets requires not just skill, but a little bit of observation and patience. Really? I guess you're tracking, so that's kind of cool. I did accept the quest, but I never actually went to finish it. So the actual having to like track down footsteps and stuff they showed in one of the gameplay showcases, I thought that was kind of cool. One of the most frequently hunted down bounties was Ravenous Bog. This hulking brute may appear clumsy, but don't let that fool you. As for where you might run into him, we'll leave that for you to discover when the time comes. And then they say, coming soon. Even at this very moment, our team is working to build and fine-tune every part of the game to bring you the best possible experience. And very soon, we believe the time will come when we can finally present Chrono Odyssey. Your continued support and interest have been an incredible source of motivation for us. We're doing our best to prepare so that we can share this world with everyone. We'll be back with even more exciting news next time. And then, like 3 hours later, they dropped the developer's notes number 2, end of the closed beta part 1. And I'm thinking I have to go make a run because the holidays, and when I come back, there'll probably be a part 2. Hello, this is the Chrono Odyssey development team. We want to thank everyone who joined the recent closed beta. Your support, curiosity, and genuine feedback have meant a lot to us. It's been a privilege to watch players explore what we've built so far, and your input allows us to take an honest look at where the game stands and shape our next steps. We were excited to see that many of you enjoyed the core experience of Chrono Odyssey. However, There are also areas that fell short. We heard consistent feedback on animations, motions, combat responsiveness, performance, optimization, graphics, etc. All forms of critique, whether big or small, are critical to the development process, and our top priority is to address these shortcomings accordingly. To that end, we're carefully reviewing all the feedback you shared. Some of it will be addressed here in part 1, while the rest is being thoroughly reviewed and will be covered in detail in part 2. So he's talking about animation, motion, and combat experience improvement, performance optimization, lighting, and other graphic enhancements. So for animation and combat responsiveness, the hit feedback inconsistency was a major issue during the closed beta test. Some actions felt sluggish or disconnected, with attacks, dodges, and blocks occasionally failing to register as expected. We believe this stems from packet desyncs between the client and the server and will accelerate packet transmission to improve timing accuracy, redesign packet intervals, and refine the packet structure. Currently, motion and combat packets are interconnected in a shared data stream, which may be contributing to sync issues. We plan on separating these into distinct systems, actively reviewing and resolving all collision detection inconsistencies to ensure combat interactions feel consistent and responsive. For class weapons, while each class has a wide range of abilities, we'll be introducing a new system called the Matrix in the next test to give each weapon a more distinct identity. This system will allow you to choose from our 4 progression paths per weapon, 12 in total, as each class has 3 weapons. So this is why I think that last beta test was an old build, because you don't just like add in systems like that. Like, you already have to have things in place where either maybe they're just turning it on or something, but they're making it seem like they're doing these changes like in real time, but they seem to already have the feedback from the focus group test, and they were just, I guess, like a confirmation bias from the larger test that they did, the closed beta test, but they already had these changes kind of like in place. So they put the larger test out. A lot of people had the same issues, so they're like, all right, those are our issues. Good thing we're already working on them, I guess. I don't know. Because you don't just build in a whole matrix system across, different weapons that change how the weapons feel. We aim to diversify skill usage of each weapon based on progression paths. Even if 2 players are using the same weapon, their primary skills may differ. The same skill can also produce different results depending on builds. Our goal is a wide range of playstyles. Like, how do you do that? Like, when is the next playtest? Because how do you do that in a short amount of time while still making sure your animations and stuff are good? Whether you're focusing on chaining skills, switching between weapons, or exploring other tactical options, farming will become more dynamic, and players will need to find gear with stats that match their playstyle. With added playstyles, we're creating new animations to ensure each weapon feels distinct and expressive in combat. See, new animations. Like, come on. Camera. We are fixing an issue where the camera angle affects visibility when you're too close to walls or certain environments. The following issues with the lock-on system will also be addressed. Abrupt screen change when changing targets, camera getting too close to the target during melee combat, camera reset after combat, skills being cast based on the direction the player is facing rather than the cameras. We're also addressing an issue where the camera shakes vertically in certain areas. For controls to enhance the overall feel of combat, we're redesigning hit reactions by increasing the reaction duration from 1 to 2 to 4 seconds. This provides clearer timing for follow-up attacks and adds a greater sense of risk and reward when taking damage or landing hits. We're also reviewing and fixing unnatural character movements and collision inconsistencies that cause characters to appear as if they were floating. I thought they were talking about like movement that appears to be floating, but it could just be the collision. Because my last video, I gave you the example of the dude running Salt Baby, Salt Poppy. Performance and optimization, GPU and rendering overload. We're restructuring how assets are rendered to reduce GPU load and improve real-time performance. High resolution nanite geometry will only be applied where necessary, while frequently repeated assets will rely on instance static mesh or hierarchical instance static mesh. To minimize draw calls and reduce GPU strain, assets will be managed in batches and draw calls will be consolidated to minimize CPU-GPU communication overhead and maximize rendering efficiency. I didn't think I really had an issue with it, but maybe some other people, they want a more wider range of systems to be able to use or play the game in a good way so it'll look good. Development efficiency. We're shifting level design towards reusable environments assets to improve development efficiency and runtime performance to speed up production and simplify maintenance while reducing memory, disk, and rendering overhead. We're also minimizing redundant materials and textures by standardizing our art pipeline with trim sheets and ensuring high resolution visual variety. Trim sheets consolidate commonly used detail elements such as metal edges, moldings, panel lines, and bolts into a single texture laid out with a 0 to 1 UV space. Each asset is then mapped to the appropriate section, allowing for a wide range of visual details using just one shared material. This eliminates the need to create separate high-resolution textures for every object. In Unreal Engine, trim sheet-based materials are loaded only once, which reduces memory usage and optimizes draw cell calls by instancing parameters like color, roughness, and metallic values. We can easily introduce visual variety without adding performance costs. Trim sheets are particularly effective when applied to modular environment pieces and background structures that are frequently used throughout the game world. I don't know why they didn't do that at first. Pretty much they're setting the system, the materials to always be there. So it's loading up from something, instead of loading up the whole material and everything at once, it's loading up a copy of the material, and it's not going to take up that much space because they already have the main material loaded into the game. So just like copy pasting it all over the place from what it sounds like, or copy pasting where it needs to be. So it shouldn't use as much memory because it's only using that one asset. We're restructuring the loading system by separating rendering data from collision data to reduce memory usage and improve system stability. Collision data loaded alongside rendering data. Previously, collision data was loaded alongside rendering data even when it wasn't needed. With the new structure, only rendering data is loaded by default, while collision data is selectively loaded based on player proximity and line of sight, completely avoiding unnecessary memory usage. For nanite meshes, we're planning to replace per polygon collision with simplified low polygon collision meshes to lower GPU and CPU overhead. Unused collision primitives will be unloaded from memory to further optimize resource usage and improve loading speed. I think this will open up more areas of the map where you could potentially fall through it, but also too dense collision maps could get you stuck in places that you shouldn't be stuck on. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how this is going to work out. We'll be refining our garbage collection GC and memory allocation structure to manage unused areas more efficiently. Unused cells and actors within the world partition system will be automatically unloaded, and the garbage collection timing will also be adjusted to remove unnecessary references more quickly. Resources will be managed based on their data layer state, with only active layers remain loaded, while assets and inactive layers are prevented from loading altogether. This ensures that only relevant assets consume memory, resulting in better performance and system stability. I'm not sure how this works in MMOs. I'm guessing when you go into an area, the draw distance, depending where the draw distance is, it's going to draw that stuff into the game. And when it's not showing it, or it'll just empty it out of memory faster. So you always have like a smoother performance is my assumption on how that works. I could be wrong though. Stable performance across various system specs. We'll be designing a dynamic loading system that adjusts based on the player's hardware. High-end systems for broader areas and higher quality assets, lower end systems for nearby cells, and lower resolution assets. This ensures a balanced experience between performance and visual quality, regardless of system specs. We'll see about that. Graphics rendering efficiency will be reducing unnecessary calculations and streamlining the rendering pipeline without compromising visual quality. Redundant material shaders will be consolidated into unified master materials, managed entirely through instance parameters. By improving ocean surfaces shaders and wave windowing, we aim to enhance realism while minimizing GPU load. To further optimize performance, we'll be reducing reliance on world position offset, simplifying material functions, and replacing screen space reflections with a mix of cube map reflections to achieve a better balance between visual quality and performance. I'm laughing because they're using all of these terms that the average person that just wants to play the game, that wants it to look good, wouldn't know. They're going into all this deep detail about world position offsets and cube map reflections. It's just kind of funny to me. Screen transition and quality. We're working to improve overall screen quality by delivering high-resolution visuals and smoother transitions. By adjusting and migrating our temporal super resolution settings, we'll be reducing motion blur and ghosting artifacts. But I want to talk about the wave rendering and surface shaders. Right now, I think one of the biggest issues is that the light was reflecting off of the water too much. So I wonder if that's going to fix that. Let's talk about temporal super resolution. It says this update also enhances image clarity and frame stability compared to traditional temporal anti-aliasing. Additionally, we're adding support for DLSS and FSR to enhance both performance and visual quality. Upscaling options will be available in compatible graphics cards to ensure players get the most out of their hardware. Oh, here's lighting. Lighting, we're working to reduce unnecessary lighting calculations by removing unused lights and limiting the excessive use of stationary and immovable lights. We're also transitioning to a cluster-based light management system to reduce rendering costs, light overlap, and shading complexity, resulting in more efficient rendering. To improve the overall quality of lighting, we're standardizing exposure values and redefining the priority and range of key lights to improve contrast fidelity and maintain consistent exposure across the scene. Please note this update includes a number of technical terms. We've done our best to explain things clearly, and we appreciate your understanding as we focus on sharing our development plans as transparently as possible. Part 2 will take a closer look at what's ahead. In addition to the areas we've already covered, we'll continue improving combat systems, technical stability, graphics, and animations. We'll also be addressing new topics such as sound. Sound is something I wanted to talk about because it's not necessarily the combat sound that was bad, but I feel like because the game was so similar to New World, when we're doing crafting, when we're chopping down trees, we're mining, the sound in New World was just amazing. How it just like echo through stuff, and when you're doing the same actions in this game, it just doesn't feel great. It's not satisfying, not as satisfying. Sound was one of the major things that made Craft Gathering satisfying in New World. Not just the doing the action, but the how it all just kind of like sucked you in because of the sound and all that good stuff. You're also getting good materials. UI, UX, gameplay flexibility, in-game guidance, balance. Yeah, in-game guidance was non-existent. Balance, content flow, progression, non-existent. Replayability, social features, narrative serviceability, and bug fixes. We don't plan on rushing ahead without first getting things right. We want the next version of Chrono Odyssey to reflect all the hard work and honest feedback that have gone into this process. Our focus remains on quality and delivering a more polished, complete experience. Stay tuned for more details, and as always, we look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you again for being part of the journey, the Chrono Odyssey development team. Got a lot of flags here. There's some random things, but I don't see part 2 here yet, so that's good. But yeah, I think that going that deep into detail isn't bad, even though there's like things that might go over people's heads. At least they're like really telling people that they have a plan and that they've addressed some concerns that people had and that they've paid attention. And I think that's a good thing for building up a community and building trust in the community. The thing is just they have to deliver on that. Now that they put that out there and they're saying they're going to do all of this and they're saying they're being transparent and they're working on making it a game and they're saying that they're listening, they can't just all of a sudden not listen. Because a lot of times that happens when they start off before the game comes out. They're like, oh, we're listening to you and we're making changes based on you. And everybody's like, oh, well, the devs listen to the players and they're listening to everybody and they're doing what we say. And then the game comes out and players have all these concerns and they just end up feeling like they're not getting touched on or they're getting ignored. A lot of times it's like bots or like some bugs, quest bugs. Like let's look at like Palia, for example. They just had an update drop recently and people were really excited about it. People in the comments were like, oh, great, more quests. And you still have the other quest bugs that you didn't fix. So that says that they haven't communicated that they're working on it or that they acknowledge that those bugs are there. It just seems like they just keep pushing along with their projected plan, their monthly plan. And I think in terms of like updates and things, unless there's like some kind of like funding issues or they have to reach a milestone to get certain funding, I think they should be like, hey, we're working on this. We have a new update that we wanted to drop today, but we wanted to fix these quests so you guys can complete those. And then once that's done, we'll drop the next update. I think that ends up being for a better community, or at least say, hey, we're dropping this update, but we're also working on those quests. Something along those lines so people feel more secure in their choice of game, I guess, more trustworthy. Yeah, more stable, more something. But that's what Chrono Odyssey dev teams need to do. They need to really not just like slack once the game comes out. But yeah, what do you guys think so far of that lengthy post? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more Chrono Odyssey. Let's play this game. We'll see what it's all about. Looking forward to the next update. I'll probably play a different class. But until next time, thanks for watching this one. Check out the links in the description. Shout out to Into the AM. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.